thank you for tuning in to the last episode of the season. Yes, this is going to be the last episode of season 3 of the Lazenby Experience podcast, and I have a very special guest, and we're going to be talking about trading on the stock market as well as the benefits of being in the military. And this is going to be a great conversation. So if you're interested in any of those topics, this is definitely the episode for you. So just stay tuned until after the music. You're about to listen to a great episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. Within this episode, my hope is that you obtain something that will help you find your success. So grab a pen, get your paper, your favorite snack or drink, and really listen to what I have to say. I truly believe it can be what you need to get you to your next level in life. So grab a seat and enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to another episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be another great episode with another great guest. I call all my guests special because they all have something I know that can help you as you're looking or finding your success. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about trading on the stock market as well as being in the military and how that can be, or how you can find success with the military. And today's guest is a special guest because we both went to the same high school together. We both graduated together, and we were both on the football team there. I should say he played more and I was on the sideline more, but we were still on the same team and everything. But anyway, Without further ado, I do want to introduce my guest for today, Mr. Joshua Williams. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited about this to get this interview started and for other people to be able to help them as they're looking for their success, whether it's with trading or trying to get into the military, because I feel like those are two things that you can definitely find success in, no matter like where you are, where your background is, or anything like that.
Oh, yes.
So let's get started with the first question. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are someone we should listen to when we're talking about trading or the military.
Well, first, I've done about 8 years in the Navy. I was in the Navy for 8 years. My occupation, rating, or job, whatever you want to call it, was religious program specialist. That's not something that's common that a lot of people hear. But basically, in layman's terms, I was like the assistant to the chaplain or the pastor, sort of say. So mainly handling like counseling sessions for him, helping him set up for like marriage retreats, couples retreats, or helping them counsel people that were dealing with substance abuse, domestic violence, things of that nature. So my job was built heavily around just caring and providing morale support for the command and everybody that was attached to a family as well. So I did that for about 8 years, and that brought me a bigger perspective on just life period, and just interacting with different cultures, interacting with different people, different walks of life, and how they deal with stress, deal with trauma in different ways. So sort of say, I would say most people that know the job is like, oh, you just like an assistant to the chaplain, but really most people see you as like another liaison to talk to, as far as other than just the chaplain. So also we provide body security. I would say we're like bodyguards for the chaplains, because they're not allowed to carry guns. A lot of people don't know that they're not allowed to bear arms. So we bear arms for them if we were to be forward deployed, and basically we would be the body shield for them if anything was to be happen. But yeah, man, I did that for 8 years. I got out back in 2021. I actually started trading while I was in the military, learning to trade and everything around, I would say, August of 2018. So it's been a while just throwing myself inside the whole industry. So came about that just from seeing it on Instagram, not really trying to join a group or anything, but just seeing other people that was making money doing something that I hadn't seen people do before. Well, at least that looked like me. So
Yeah, definitely. And I've been seeing a lot of that too on Instagram, and I feel like it all can be good information. You just got to take it and learn from it. You just can't push it to the side everybody does this, but you got to actually put in the work for it.
Yeah, I would say when I started learning not a lot of the gurus that's out now were out back then. So it was a very, very small niche of like black educators when it comes to just the foreign exchange market or the stock market. So I probably consider myself lucky that I didn't get swindled by a lot of different educators that really didn't know what they were talking about. So
yeah. So let's start there, because you kind of went into my next question of when you guys started. But why did you get started, and why you continue to trade in the stock market? Or you said Forex as well too, right?
Yeah, both. So really it's the freedom portion of it. I'm nowhere near a millionaire trader right now, but I that's what I aspire to be. I do see myself doing that for the rest of my life. I see myself being a trader for the rest of my life, no matter what my occupation is. I think trading will always be there, whether I want to get back into the workforce or anything like that. Trading is always going to be something I'll be doing. But what made me do it is just wanting something better: time freedom, the ability to trade wherever you are. Just need a simple Wi-Fi connection to your laptop. So that's really why I got into it, and it piques my interest. I always wanted to study like accounting. If I would have went to college, I would have said I always would have studied accounting. So numbers were something that kind of like interests me, even though you don't really have to be a numbers person to learn how to trade. But it was something that interests me, and it helps you be more aware of like what's going on with the economy. So that was another reason why I just kept going with it.
So when you first started trading, like how often did you, I guess, start like the training or go through like modules, and then versus how often do you do it now?
Not as often now, which I probably should do it as much as I did back then. But I was doing it every day. Even when I was like gone away from family, like I would hook my iPad up to my hotspot on my phone and watch videos that way when I didn't really have a Wi-Fi connection. But I was watching videos every day. In 2018, from like 2018 to almost 2020, I just focused solely on just learning. I didn't like put any money into the market. I was just trying to learn exactly what it was and try to really understand it. I'm one of those individuals that likes to know something. I don't want to say completely, but I also want to feel comfortable with what I'm doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And like jump full-fledged into it. So I did want to try to see that this was something that I can put my focus to and learn it before I just threw money at it. Because it is gambling at the end of the day. Regardless of what you know, or how much information and knowledge you have, you're going to be gambling at the end of the day. So I just wanted to put myself in the best position to gamble the smartest way, if you want to put it like that.
So what advice or what ways can you, or would you convince someone who might be on the fence of trading or against trading because they might think it's gambling, or they think it's just like going to the casino or something like that? Like, what would you say to someone who thinks that way?
I almost would just say just following the right individuals, following the right trading plan, being disciplined, regardless of the trading strategy that you're going to follow or whoever. It's more so the discipline, consistency with it. I would say, like, if you take a coin and you flip it 100 times, you may get it heads 50 times, you may get tails 50 times. The good thing about trading is if you do the same thing consistently 100 times, you'll always come out positive. You may not have a 90% win rate like you may see with some of the other gurus, or even a 70%. You may not even have a 70% win rate. But if you can have at least a 50% win rate with trading, you'll make money.
Okay.
And that's not saying that you're a really good trader. If you're saying I'm only winning 50% of my, I mean, every 2 trades I make, I lose 1, right? But those ones that I lose, it's controlling the amount that you lose.
Okay.
So not saying I'm losing my entire account every time I'm losing just a portion, a fraction. So that's coming up with a proper trading plan and following, proper risk management, and you'll be successful. And also, I mean, if you have any skepticism about trading, I'm gonna just say don't do it. I mean, because if you're coming into it with that mindset already that it's gambling, I can't do it, or you're never gonna put yourself in the mindset to want to do it. So just don't go ahead and find a different industry that you may have an interest in and learn about that. Find a way to make some money in that industry. Um, I'm not one to try to convince anybody to try to do anything or this is a for all be all, because it isn't. It's not a for all be all. Like the casino is not my thing. I don't go gamble at the casino. I don't sports bet because I look at trading as my sports betting and in my casino. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's not for everybody. So
Yeah, I think that's great advice because I think some people, no matter what industry it is, they might say, they might try to convince other people to get into it, even if they are skeptical about it.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
if you are skeptical about it, you're not going to put 100% into it, and if you're not going to
exactly.
put 100% into it, you're just going to basically
You're looking for the first excuse for you to stop doing
exactly. So yeah, I like that advice. So for the people who are interested in trading and being on the stock market or the forex, what tips or advice do you have for them who want to get started or who's looking to get started but they haven't started yet?
I would just say get started. Be willing to learn. Be open to learn. Like find a good mentor and be willing to learn. Understanding it won't be a 2 week process. It won't be a month process. It's going to be whatever your learning style is. That's how long it may take you to understand it. But if you really want to learn this industry, it won't be anything that'll stop you. Like if you having that consistent um, feeling that you should learn it or you should take that leap, then just go ahead and do it. I think that's the best advice I can give someone. Like I said, I'm not trying to convince anybody to do anything or feel like they should get into trading, because I don't want to lead you down a rabbit hole that you're not really ready for, because I've seen this industry take some of the people I thought were that would get it. I've seen it take them out in a month, 2 months. You know what I mean? Just not understand. They just have bigger expectations than what you should. Like most people don't treat trading like an actual business or like a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the difference. That's the difference between people that's around a long period of time and people that's not. You're not treating it like an actual profession. You're treating it like it's a hobby.
So, like, what is that first thing? Like, I know you probably, like you said, the
I would say
first
find a
year.
mentor.
Okay,
Find a mentor.
so
That would be the first thing I would say.
where would you look for a mentor? Because I know you said you talked about Instagram, but like, would you go on Instagram to look for a mentor in trading? Like, what are some other places
I wouldn't
possible?
necessarily say Instagram. There's a really good guy on YouTube, the Inner Circle Trader. Um, he has written multiple trading books, algorithm books. He's the author of the Smart Money Contract. I would recommend going to him. He has a free course. If you're not one of those people that wants to pay for a course and pay a couple $100, he has a free course that he used to charge thousands for that he uploaded for free on YouTube. You can literally watch all of his videos, and he's like one of the biggest traders, biggest name traders. I won't say the biggest name trader I know, but he's a big name in the trading community, and you're able to learn from him for completely free. Again, the name is the Inner Circle Trader. Very good content. There's like multiple hours of content for you to be able to just go through.
Yeah. So when it comes to resources, what are some outside of him? What are some resources that you go to, or who are some of your mentors that you can like personally go to, who guide you and help you along your trading journey?
One of them is more recently I found this woman. She was prior Navy. She's actually a really, really good trader and a good friend of mine as well. Her name is I won't say her real name because she doesn't like people to know it, but her name she goes by Saf. Uh, Her name is the Prophet Slayer on Instagram. She has a really good course as well as far as just teaching market condition, understanding market structure, understanding entry and exit points, how to use the Fibonacci, things like that. So again, the name is the Prophet Slayer on Instagram. She's like a really good mentor. I would recommend for individuals that probably need someone they can like reach out to and talk to. So, and then also me. You can also find me on Instagram as well. My Instagram tag is FCHW F.C.H.W. Yeah, I'm always open for consultations and Zoom calls with individuals to help break down the market as well. So But yeah, once you go down one rabbit hole with finding a mentor, you'll probably see multiple different people, but it's just sticking to one.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, just sticking to one because you don't want to overload yourself with too much information.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And you talked about like strategies. So, like, how many? Well, I'm pretty sure there's thousands, if not millions, of different
yeah,
strategies out there. Like, what are some of those strategies that you use when it comes to trading?
I would say one of my main strategies that I like to use is identifying like quarter points. I use that a lot, uh, and just support and resistance. And when I say quarter points, I won't break it down because it'll confuse all the listeners, but it's like a quarter point strategy, and then watching price action. That's a big strategy of mine.
So, for people who want to get into trading, but they say it's they can't afford it or it's too expensive, like, what advice or what do you would you give to them so they can know that it's not too expensive to get started with it, or what advice would you give to them to kind of, if they have to, save so they can get into trading?
I mean, honestly, just look at the value that you would get out of possibly learning a said skill set because it is a skill set at the end of the day. Just like it would be a skill set with being able to learn. I would consider it like learning like a trade, right? Like you would be an electrician, a plumber, whatever those type of trades that you would try to take up. You would have to invest money, right, and time into learning those trades. So the same thing would be with this. If you want to see yourself as a valuable, skilled person and be able to add extra money to your income outside of your, 9 to 5, that's the value. That's the advice I can give right there. Like if you don't see the value in that beforehand, then it's not for you. Because you see the value in other things that you try to pursue, whether it's a degree, and that degree may or may not pay you the money that you may want to make out of life. So if you see this as being an industry that you feel like will pay you the money that you do want to make out of life, you'll come up with the necessary ways to save. We find ways to save for things that we want all the time. So if it's something that you want, you'll find a way to save for it. I don't want to necessarily tell people what to do. Like I said before, I'm not the convincing type of person. I'm not going to convince you into being a trader or wanting to trade or this is something that you should do. Most people that I know that actually stick with this industry, it didn't take them that long to understand the value behind it. You see people making a couple $100,000s in a few minutes. That's all the convincing I needed for me to just take it serious. You know what I mean? So seeing people make consistently $200,000-300,000 a day, not even that, maybe 1,000, 2,000, maybe 200, $300 a day. It only takes $333 a day for you to be over 6 figures, right? So even that alone is such a minuscule amount that we don't even think about. So $333 a day, and that's you can make that easily in the market. A couple minutes. I mean, a couple seconds, depending on what you're risking. So, um, it's the value. Whether you see the value in it or not, you'll figure out a way to save for it and get those negative conceptions out your head for you to go ahead and make it work.
So, how much would you say is a good number to, if someone is trying to save so they can start trading? What would you say that number is? Like the least amount of money you would need to get started?
Once you have a foundation with knowledge, I would say at the very minimum $500. That's just being very, 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 very modest, right? But I would recommend anywhere between 2 to 5,000. If you really are looking to like grow an account and consistently like make some money off of it. Only reason why I say 2 to 5,000 is just because it gives you a little bit more room for error, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go live, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do some stuff wrong. So it gives you some margin for error. So that way, if you do make a couple mistakes, you can make it up. You still have enough money to make it up, right? So if you only have $200-300, 500, you can start with $200-300, $500. I just don't recommend it all the time. I mean, it's easier for individuals. Most people have $500, $300 to save to be able to put into the market, but when you take those losses, I'm not going to say losses. When you take those lessons in the market, um, it kind of puts, I done lost $150. I only have 325 left or 300 left, or I don't want to risk this and then I'm losing it and then I don't have anything. Because once you blow an account, you're going to reload, reblow it, reload it, reblow it. So the amount of money that you would take to keep reloading your account, you could have just saved that, right? And put $3,000 in. And then once you put $3,000 into it, now you have that cushion I was talking about.
So when you say trading, I know there's different like ways of trading. You can like trade and like put it in the stock market and like just keep it there for years until
Yeah, that's
like
long term.
long term.
That's
Okay,
long term. Now
so
that's not. I don't really want to say that's trading.
okay,
That's more of an investing. It's like long term investing, because you're really like buying a certain stock and you're holding on to it for a long period, 5 to 10 years, right? Um, that's more of a long term investing. Then we have what we call this swing trading, which is basically like holding a trade maybe a week.
What was it called again?
Swing trading.
Swing. Okay.
Yeah, so swing trading is maybe holding a trade for 3 days, for as long as 3 days to maybe as long as a month or two, right? That's swing trading. Then you have what I normally do is what's called intraday trading, where you're getting in and out the market the same day, right? So I'm placing my trade the same day I'm getting out. Or you can do scalping. That's the same thing as intraday, but scalping is even quicker than intraday because I can be in the market right now, and then the next 2 minutes I can be out the market and make my profit. So there's different levels to trading or different styles that you can take to trading. So that's why I tell you that it's such a big industry and there's so many different routes that you can take. You don't necessarily have to be just a day-to-day trader. You can be a trader that takes one trade a week, one trade a month, one trade every 2 months or something like that. So it's just finding your happy medium, what you consider is comfortable with your risk strategy, what you consider risky for yourself. Like some people, may not want to risk that much money, and I'd rather hold it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks and be able to make some money on the back end. Whereas me, I want to make money today. I don't want to wait 3 weeks from now to get this money. I want to make it today. So it's just depending on your risk strategy, your risk profile, I would say.
And then I went into kind of trading before. I never made any trading in the market, but I've like been to classes or learned about it a little bit. And I know you have to have certain accounts or have certain ways for you to like put the money in to the stock market. So can you talk about that a little bit of how you actually like start your first trade?
Well, if you're trading options or just trading stocks, you would need a brokerage account. So that's your typical Robinhood account, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, Charles Schwab, Webull. Uh, those are all different platforms that you can use to set up a trading account. And that normally takes a day, not even a day. Sometimes maybe it takes a couple of hours, not even a couple of hours. Sometimes depending on the brokerage, it could take a couple of minutes. Like I just opened one with E-Trade last week, and it took me a couple minutes to just open an account. So it's very, very easy. I think that's the part that a lot of people get stuck on in the beginning with trading, is trying to figure out which account they should open. And literally, you can download the app and open the account in the same 5 minutes that you. So once you really open up the account, then it's just connecting your bank account to it and transferring the amount of money and getting started. If you know exactly what it is you're trying to trade and things like, obviously you need to have the knowledge behind it. I don't recommend anyone jump into trading without having any knowledge. Like just because you watched a video or two videos for a week or two, give yourself 30 days. Let that high of you being like, I'm gonna make myself rich, let that high go down. You know what I'm saying? Just do it, study for at least 30 days, maybe 60 days, and then start putting money in the market, right? You'll be able to at least have like a baseline. You really want to have a baseline, a foundation of knowledge before you do any type of investment, whether that's long-term investing or short-term investment. You just never want to just hop into it, because right now, like let's say today, right? If I want to go and I just want to buy a stock of Tesla, right? I think it's like maybe 180 something bucks right now, or maybe 190, and it may be at the high today, right? But tomorrow it could fall and be, let's say, $168, right? Would you rather buy a stock at 193 or 168?
168.
Right, because it's a lot cheaper. When it goes up, you make money. All right. So
What, isn't
that
there different
alone,
ways you can trade to? Can't you trade to like go against the
yes, you
market
can.
too?
Yes, you can. But if you don't have the knowledge to know that, you just throw $500 into the market. If you don't know exactly how to take that entry at a specific price and know what you're targeting to get out, you end up losing, or the
Mm-hmm.
contract may expire, or things like it's just different factors that may come into place that you're not really thinking about, because you're just trying to throw money into account and invest. But now, if there is some stock like you want to do long term investing, I always just say look at the stuff that you use every day and then invest into that. That's the easiest way. I learned from a guy named Ian Dunlap. He's the co-host of Earn Your Leisure. I'm not gonna say co-host, but he's one of the hosts of Earn Your Leisure Market Mondays. He always say two tech, two index. So two tech stocks and two index stocks. And that's a long-term investment portfolio. You can grow that, consistently put money into that, and it'll grow over time. Um, Two big tech stocks that I like myself are Square and Apple, and a little Microsoft, and then like the index stocks, which is basically like an ETF fund. So like a SPY, which is like an ETF for S&P 500, or Teachable Q, which is ETF for the Nasdaq, uh, which is tech stocks, and then just invest into those. That's a very simple strategy that anybody can do. Uh, I'm one of the individuals that I preach against 401k. Um, I would almost recommend everybody do their own investing, um, separately from a 401k that's not tied to your job, just in case that job goes away. So,
It's interesting that you say that because I mean I've done internships, I've done co-ops for different companies, and one of the things that they talk about is a 401k and putting money into that for your retirement. So if you can just expand on that a little bit, like why do you think someone should take more, I guess, responsibility when it comes to their retirement than just putting it into a 401k and let it grow for them?
because you don't know what your money is going to, or what is being invested into, because mainly those 401ks are handled by your job, right? Their corporate office does the investing for you. You just put the money in there, and they invest into whatever mutual funds or ETFs that they want. You don't really gain as much over time that you would as far as your own investing strategy. So I did some numbers a while back. I don't have it as far as accuracy right now, but you almost make 3 to 4 times as much more money if you were to take, let's say you were investing $400 a month, right? $100 a week, $400 a month, but you were putting that into a 401k, right? At the end of your 401k, let's say after 30 years, that 401k's value was, let's say, $100,000, right? If you took that same $400 and you just invested into the SPY, right, which is an ETF for the S&P 500 at a consistent uh, growth of over 10% per year, you would have over close to $1 million,
Okay.
right? Compared to what your job really have about 100,000, right? So there's caps to the amount of money that you're able to accumulate over time. Like compound interest won't be on your side with a 401k. They actually created 401ks back after the 1929 depression, um, as a way for the modern individual to get back into the stock market, without them actually knowing that they're getting back into the stock market. So it's a more very, very subtle way to invest, for bigger companies to invest, to take their employees' money and invest, and then opposed to people going back and just investing into the stock market. A lot of people were very skeptical of investing into the stock market after the 1929 crash. So that was their way of creating that type of structure for us to go ahead and get back into that lane. So But even if you read books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Robert Kiyosaki talks about that in his books, that his rich dad taught him against 401ks, whereas his poor dad taught him to put his money into a 401k. And you always wonder why. Why would my rich dad teach me something different than my other dad? He actually has more knowledge of this space than my dad, who's, not as wealthy as him.
Mm-hmm.
So just that alone, and then just doing your own research, right? If you do your own research and do the numbers yourself, you'll quickly realize that, hey, I should just do this myself. If you actually look at the companies or look at the stuff that most people don't even know where their money is going in their 401k,
Yeah.
right? Some people is just a savings account. It's not even getting invested. It's just a saving that you're doing. You're putting $400 or $200, $300 aside every month. And then your job, quote unquote, matches it, right? So that's where a lot of people get it at. I mean, that's their comfortability with the whole 401k, is that, hey, my job will match it 100%. So that means if I put 40,000 in here, they'll give me 40,000. Cool, that's all cool and dandy. But it took you 25 years to save this 40,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you put at minimum 6,000 into a IRA, right, a Roth IRA, and you do that for 6 years, put $6,000 in there, it's about $500 a month, right? And then you don't touch it. If you just put that into a mutual fund, S&P, right, and you don't touch it after 6 years, and you just let that money just grow, after 30 years, 40 years, you'll have over.
Okay.
That's a fact. But that same $500, if you just put it into your 401k, right, for 6 years, and then you just stop, and then you don't do it, touch it again, you're still going to have that same amount of money in there when in the next 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference. You just have a little more compound interest on your side.
Good. So I want to go back just a little bit about like training. Let's say someone is ready, but they don't want to put the risk their own money. Like they went through the 30 days of training or the 60 days of training, but they want to kind of get their feet wet, but at least not with their money yet. They just want to see how it is to actually like trade just
Right.
just for the feeling. Like, are there any programs out there where they can just, I guess, trade with fake money?
Yes, there's a lot of different, every brokerage, at least in the foreign exchange market, most brokerages that you'll use has like a demo account that you can practice with, where you can practice with fake money, like you said, a demo account where you're practicing in live market condition. So yeah, you'll be able to trade demo and practice for that couple of months or 2 months or however long you want, before you go ahead and jump in the market.
Okay. And then when it comes to like someone who wants to potentially make enough money where they can quit their full-time job, what would you say is a good amount of time to like be into trading? Like not just doing it once a week or once every other couple of days, but like doing it every single day. Like how long would you say someone can be doing trading to replace their full-time job?
I think it depends on the individual, how much you're already making, how much you need to be comfortable in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because that could be 75,000, that could be 85,000, right? So whatever it is that you're comfortable, that I would at least say double your salary, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can double your salary, and be able to consistently make what you make every day at work trading, then go ahead, right? If you can double that, then go ahead. Me personally, I would definitely recommend at least taking 2 or 3. Once you get consistent, taking 2 or 3 years before you quit your job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that way, if anything does happen within that 2 or 3 year span, you're just not solely relying on you to make the money through trading, because then you put unnecessary pressures and things like that. It's just an experience that I've been through myself. So I would recommend definitely doing 2 or 3 years of just trading and working, if you can, and then go ahead and step away from your, 9 to 5, do it full time. But if you can do it that first year, I know people that been trading after 2 months. I mean, went full time after doing it for a few months, 6 months, and they've been killing it ever since. Like it just depends on you as a person, what you have going on. I have a wife and a kid and other responsibilities, bills due. So you know what I mean. So I can't really take that. Some people can't take that risk like out. So if you if you're a single person, don't have any children, don't have a spouse, by all means, go ahead and make a couple good trades. Your first 6 months to a year, jump into it full time. You know what I mean? Uh, but also have that, have a little backup, have a little savings, just so that way if things go wrong, right? Don't go crazy with your risk. Keep what you're doing consistent. Maybe up it a little bit so that way you make a little bit more money. But you'll know and then you'll know when you're ready to go.
So, would you recommend someone who's in high school to start trading, or do you think it's something you should do? Okay.
Definitely, it's not an age limit to it. I seen a 13-year-old boy that trades options. He makes over $1 million a year trading options. So there's no age limit to it. There's no qualifications. Felons, anyone can create a brokerage account and start trading. So there's literally, this is one in the industry. There's no limitations to it. It's whatever you put into the market, how much ever energy you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So I definitely recommend high schoolers to jump on this early.
So do you think there's a certain type of person or a certain type of mindset you have to have in order to be someone who trades, whether it's part-time or full-time?
No, I don't know, because there's people of all walks of life that end up trading, right? I know people that was felons. I know people that were garbage truck, individuals, people that were in the military, people that were just different walks of life, so there's no specific mindset. There's people, you don't have to be good at math. You don't have to be, you do have to have common sense, right? Be able to critical think. That's like basic.
Well, that's with any job, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. That's with any job. So if you can have common sense to be able to critically think, I think you'll do fine, right? So,
well, those are the questions I had about trading. If any listener wants to get more about that, you can definitely reach out to Joshua. If you can't, just say I'm going to ask you at the end again to repeat your Instagram and stuff, but you can definitely reach out to him for any other questions you might have or I didn't ask today. But let's move on to the second topic so we can get more into the military and how that can help you be successful as well. So with that first question about the military, why did you join the military? And you can talk more about why you joined specifically the Navy too.
Well, I ended up joining the military because I was just tired of working like 2 jobs, man. I joined the military a little bit older at 21. So I didn't really join right out of high school. So I was living on my own, me and my girlfriend, which is my wife, my girlfriend at the time. We had been living on our own for the last 3 years. So I got kicked out of school. I got kicked out of my house at 18. So a couple months after high school graduation, I was already on my own. So since then, I had been working a couple different jobs, dead end warehouse, forklift, things like that. I was just ready for a different outlook on life. I didn't want to keep staying in Chicago. I knew it was just going to be I don't know. I just wanted to do something different. I wanted to get out of there. I didn't know how to, other than that military. So I just decided, hey, man, let me go. I actually went and started to join the Air Force first, took the ASVAB for the Air Force. I didn't quite make the qualifying score. I missed about like a point, and then I was going to go retake it. Ended up just going to the Navy office. They was like, "Hey, we'll take you how you are. We'll get you out of here as quick as you want." So that's literally how I ended up joining the Navy. Went to MEPS. I kind of wanted to do like admin or maybe military police, but neither one of those were available. So they were like, "Oh, this is a mix between it's like admin and you can do RP." And I'm like, "What's RP?" So they kind of finessed me with that a little bit. So it definitely was nowhere near admin or military police. So, but yeah, that's how I end up joining the military.
So you said if you would have went to college, you would have went for like accounting. So what made you not go that route or go to college?
Just not having the support, to be honest. I mean, like I
Mm,
said, I got kicked out of the house at 18, so I didn't. My parents weren't. Well, my parent wasn't really supportive of me trying to go to college. Like I was going to junior college when I got kicked out, so
mm.
obviously that wasn't of their importance to either. So that's why I didn't continue. So I just decided to go to the military. I mean, I couldn't going to college at that time wasn't going to pay the bills. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And I honestly think college doesn't is I mean, as much as it's preached in high school and for everyone to go to college is not the only route to find success or
yeah, no,
to find a way to get a good career. So
no.
I
Mm-hmm.
try to have guests on who might not have went to college or who dropped out of college or whoever. I mean, just did a different path in college, because even though I'm in college and I think it's going to help me, it's not there for everyone, or is
Hey,
the right
I'm
major is
I'm
not for
about to roll
everybody.
myself, man. I'm about to enroll back myself. So I understand completely.
And
Yeah,
then
I'm gonna
going
be
later
ready.
in life is good too, because that's when you probably know more about what you want to do and
Yeah.
who you are as a person, and you're more
Mm-hmm.
focused. Like as an 18-year-old, like you just went through 18 years of school. Like at that time you
Mm-hmm.
probably don't even want to go to school anymore. And then when you get older, you're like, okay, now I know what I want to do or how I can be successful, whatever I want to be successful at. So
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
so what are some of the things that you learned while you were in the military? Are you currently still in the military too?
No, 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 I'm not. I've been
Okay.
out for almost 2 years now.
Okay, so like,
But
yeah.
I would say how to problem solve, right? It's a big one that we don't really get, especially as Black men, we don't really get taught how to be problem solvers. We just get asked to solve problems.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to critically think on a different level, that was something I learned as well. And then just I would say interacting with different cultures. That was something that I wasn't privy to before joining the military. So being able to interact and coexist with other cultures wasn't something that we both grew up around. You know, our high school is majority Black
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit of Hispanic. So and even the Hispanic side, we didn't really commingle with the Hispanic side like that. So just trying to learn really how to be a person amongst other cultures and understand that they go through different things like we go through. They have their own struggles and things that they go through like we do. So it just taught me how to be more grateful too about the stuff that we have, and how to cherish my family, my loved ones, cherish friendships a lot more. So yeah.
When you were in the military, when you were in the Navy, like when you ever got deployed, right?
Fortunately, I thank God that I did not.
Oh, you
I did
didn't.
8 years
Okay.
and I did not have to
Okay.
go like to Iraq or anything like that. No.
So what were some of the things that you did have to do, or places that you did have to go?
I did like various different trainings in different sections. Like went to Jackson, North Carolina for like a security type of training. There's like a Marine Corps security trainer. I went down to Mississippi to do like a we call them our construction workers that's in the Navy. They have their own school, so I did that school as well. And then just doing various workup like field ops while I was stationed with the Marines. So like going out to various parts of California doing field ops, field operations, which is basically mimicking warlike situations and how to handle them and things like that. So I
Okay.
did a lot of those type of exercises.
So if you're talking to someone who's interested in being in the military, at whatever age they're at, like what are some things that you wish you would have known before you signed up, before you joined, that you want them to know before they join?
That to use it as a stepping stone, right? Go into the military and go and learn what you have to learn, right? But use it to your advantage. Understand that you earn these different benefits and rights and things like that for you to be able to use them, right? So if you're going in there because you want to go to college, right? When you get to your duty station, figure out a way for you to go and enroll in college, right? Take advantage of that because most individuals have to pay thousands of dollars to go to college. So take
Tens
advantage of that.
to $100,000, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Tens of hundreds of thousands, exactly. take advantage of the networking opportunities that you get while you're in the military. Because, like I said, you never know who you'll meet. I've met some of my best friends in the military. I've met some great mentors in the military, and had I been and be open minded, right? If you come from a city like where we come from, where you're not always the most open mindedness when you come out of Chicago, so just be more open minded. Because I said you may learn something from somebody, or take every opportunity to learn. No matter what the situation, take every opportunity to learn. There's a lesson out of everything. That's what I would say. There's a lesson out of everything that you're going to do in the military. Just try to find that lesson. I think I think that's the best way I could prepare someone that's going to the military.
I think when you talked about networking, I think that's probably one of the best things you can get from whatever environment you go to, because a lot of people say your network is your net worth, and
Yes.
I kind of believe. I mean, I don't think I 100% believe that, because I don't know, but I think the people who you hang around, the people that you talk business with, the people who you interact with, they are part of what makes you who you are, or part of that's going to help you be successful or not be successful. So no matter if you go to the military, no matter if you go to school, no matter if you start your own business, being able to network with other individuals, not just people who look like you, but people who have the same type of mindset as you, or have a bigger mindset than you, can definitely help you in whatever path you go down.
And just to add to that, the ones that have a bigger mindset to you, don't look at it as a way of them when they're speaking about their lifestyle or whatever it is. Don't take it as their boasting or anything like that. Because a lot of people will take it as, oh, he's bragging, he's boasting, or all he do is talk about himself. But he really, it's exposing you to a different lifestyle that you may not be accustomed to. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone maybe, like I remember I had a mentor. Right? They'll talk about them putting the stitching of their name right on their dress shirts. Right? So when you see a dress shirt or something, you'll see like the initials on it. Right? That's something I had never seen before. And I'm thinking like, man, this guy, like, you know what I mean? Like, but really it's a statement of this is a more higher class, right? A more high level, more sophisticated lifestyle that you're not used to. That's a grown man carrying himself as a grown man. You don't see too many grown men carrying themselves like grown men anymore. Dressing, I wouldn't just say just because a man puts a suit on, he's a grown man, but someone that does it every day and is actually living that type of lifestyle and actually living what you aspire yourself to be, then you definitely have to be open-minded. Don't take it as a boasting, but see it as a motivation, as a way for you to, as a basically like a door for you to get to where you want to be.
So when it comes to the military, or specifically with the Navy, are there any benefits that, I mean, a lot of us know some of the benefits, like the GI Bill, being able to go to school and housing and that kind of thing, but is there anything else that we might not know of some of the benefits that we get from being in the military or in the Navy?
No, not really. I mean, they preach the whole you get free healthcare and stuff like that, which, I mean, like I said, it's nice and things like that, but the GI Bill would be a really big one, and then the VA disability, if you are eligible for that as well. So, but I would definitely say the GI Bill is a very big one that a lot of people they don't take advantage of, not the correct way at least. So I would definitely say that. And then, like I said, also the disability as well. A lot of people don't take advantage of that because they see it as going to medical while they're in as being weak or getting talked about or whatever. But hey, man, listen, go to the doctor. You know what I mean? As soon as you get in, your knees hurting, your back hurt, stuff like that, got headaches, you know what I'm saying, your jaw hurt, whatever, doesn't matter what, your finger, toes, go. You know what I mean? Because once you get out, if those things start to keep persisting, you're able to make a claim, and now you're able to, add a little bit extra income to your household. So that's a avenue that a lot of veterans don't end up taking, just because they're unaware while they're in the profile that they could be building. Not saying to get in and build a medical profile, but have that in the back of your mind, just that, hey, if I get hurt, I could be taken care of. Like, don't think that if you get hurt and they threaten you with putting you out, that you won't be taken care of. So, but you have to advocate for yourself for you to be taken care of. So it's not something that most they just give out. So, but like I said, the GI Bill would be the biggest one, and then also utilizing the VA home. A lot of veterans don't take advantage of that as well. So using that as well, that's a very good program that most veterans or most individuals most civilians can't take advantage of that, right? A no down payment home loan. So and in some cases they help with the closing costs. So I definitely would put
Now,
like VA home loan, GI Bill, VA disability, things like that.
now with the GI Bill, you said some people don't take advantage of it correctly. Like, what would you say is the correct way of like going about getting the GI Bill or
A lot of
taking
people
advantage
end
of?
up just because a lot of people will go, and if they do take advantage of going to school while they're in, you don't use your GI Bill because your command will pay for you to go to school. If you use your GI Bill once you're out, they actually pay you to go to school. So a lot of veterans don't end up using it. So, but they pay you to go to school. You know what I mean? They'll pay you a housing, it's like a little house allowance.
Does it have to be a 4-year university? Can it be like trade school or
it can be
community
a 2-year
college?
university.
Okay.
It can be an online university. It can be a 2-year college, a 4-year college. They do have some like vocational schools you can go to. They do have some like trade schools that you'll be able to go to that covers the GI Bill. It just depends on what industry you're going into. You just have to do research on it.
So what would you say the military, or how would you say the military have helped you when it comes to building wealth and being successful with your family and leaving a legacy?
I don't think the military has something to do with it. I think it has something to do with you as a person. Because the military is going to pay everybody the same, but not everybody gets the same result that comes out of the military. So I think it just depends on you as a person. Does it give you like a good baseline to work off of? Yes. If you use it as a good baseline, because it's not a lot of money. You don't make a lot. Like, you're not going into the military unless you're an officer. You're not going in there making a crazy amount of money. Like, if you go in single by yourself, you're going to barely make $30,000, right? But if you have a little hustle to yourself, if you're able to innovate, find a side hustle or something like that, you can make it make it work for you, where now you got a little 2 income. So I think that's what really helped, is me just wanting to leave wealth and be able to have a different mindset. Because I know a lot of people that have been in the military for 4, 5, 20 years and still have the same mindset they had when they joined. So it's about you wanting to progress and be a better person. So
I guess my last question when it comes to the military is, probably should have asked this earlier, but what are the different rankings when it comes to the military? And do you know any of the responsibilities or any of the maybe salaries or anything that comes with those different rankings?
Yeah, I know the rankings. I mean, it goes from like E1, it's like enlisted, all the way to E9, which is like the highest that you can go as far as enlisted side. And then they have the officer side, which those are individuals that have degrees, and then they join the military. That starts at 01 and it goes all the way up to 010. Lowest E1, I would just say E1s, they come in, well, when I was in, I think they made about, I would say $1,300 a month. So about maybe $650 every 2 weeks, every first of 15. So not a lot of money, right? That's not a lot at all. Every first of 15, $650, that's not going to do it. Even if you buy yourself, it's not going to do it. So, but then E9, I think their salary is, I want to say base is maybe like 7,000, so maybe about 90,000 a year.
Okay.
Right, but they make well over probably 100,000 on like other stipends and stuff like that.
And are those usually people who've been in the military for 10, 15 years?
Yeah, well, if you're E9, you've been in the military over 25 years.
Oh, 25, okay.
So, yeah. So that's just putting it into perspective. And then also, like I said, and then with 01, they start off at, I think, 85,000. And then 010, they making about 170.
Okay.
So But like I said, you have to be in the Navy at least 25 years
Mm-hmm.
to get to that. O10, most people that's officers don't even get to O10. Most of them only get to like 05. So they cap out around 05. They at like 20, 25, 20 years, 25 years at 05. That's about 120, 130 a year. So just putting that perspective, like
Mm-hmm.
if you do the right things, you go get your degree in the right field. Like don't go get a sports marketing degree, go get an actual engineering degree or something, preferably like you're doing, electrical engineer, civil engineer, like things like that. Or if you're going to be a doctor, a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
right? So something like that, you can easily make 120, 130, 140, right? Not having to put yourself through the stress and rigorous schedule of the military for 25 plus years. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I think. Not trying to put any downfall on the military, because it definitely did give me a good stepping stone, and put me around the right individuals. But if you have any type of, like I said, hustle about yourself, and if you have any belief in yourself, you'll be able to blow those salaries out the water. You know what I mean? Way before that. Like I have a one of my business partner. He was in the Air Force, right, for 6, 7 years, and he was teetering whether or not he wanted to go back into the military. He was getting out, but he was teetering whether or not he wanted to go back in as an officer. And I just laid out the picture for him, like, you're getting out, right? You have your bachelor's degree. You have 6 years of aerospace knowledge. So working with airplanes, right? So you have about 6, 7 years of that knowledge, and you have a bachelor's degree. Most jobs are looking for someone with a bachelor's degree, right? And you already have over 4 to 5 years of experience, right? So you can really come in making more than what you would make as an O1, right? So you'll come
Mm-hmm.
back into the military. You actually lose salary because they're going to start you off at 85, right? Another company, which he did later found out, started him off at 120. So you're already starting off at an O5 level, whether or not, what I mean. Whereas if you would have just went back in, you would have had to start all over. It took you at least 6 to 8 years to even get to that,
Mm-hmm.
pay range. So it's just weighing things like that out. Knowing how to like set out an actual plan for yourself. Most people don't really plan out their life. So, and I've been victim of that as well. I can't say I've planned everything that I want to do in life. It happened. So, but if you put a plan in place and actually stick to it, it should work out.
Yeah, definitely. But before we end this episode, I'd like to ask my guests these last 3 questions. The first being, is there anything that we have missed or anything I didn't talk about, whether it's with trading or with the military, that you want to make sure that our listeners or the listeners get away with?
Trading is not a get rich quick thing. Like I just want to put that. It's not a get rich quick. You're not gonna fucking. I'm sorry. I know what you see on the Instagram, YouTube, things like that. That may not be. It may take you a year. It may take you 2 years before you actually make money, right? But it's the journey with it, right? So it's understanding where you're going with this, because you can have one profitable year, the next year you may not be profitable. So sticking with it consistently over a long period of time, it's gonna work out for you. So, and that's me talking to myself, not
And then the second to last question, if there's 1 or 2 things you want to make sure that they leave with, if they don't remember anything else from this conversation, they have to leave knowing these 1 or 2 things. What would those things be?
I would just say believe in yourself, man. It's very hard for you to, especially with nowadays with social media, to keep consistent faith in yourself. So believe in yourself and what you can do, seriously, because what we think is what we are. So I just want to leave people with that. What you think is what you are. So if you can think it, you can do it. So just put your best effort forth every day, no matter how hard it is. It does get harder. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do want to say thank you again for being a guest on my podcast. It's been a great episode. I talked about a lot of great things that I didn't know that I can potentially help me be successful in my life as well.
Yes,
but before we go, I do want to give you a chance to shout out anything, put your social medias out there, talk about anything that might be coming up in your life that you want people to know about.
Yeah, so my social one, to put it out there, f.c.h.w. On Facebook, this is hard work. And then you'll see my page. Yeah, man, I'm only on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, but I keep that mainly for like family and close friends and stuff like that. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah. Well, again, thank you for being a guest on my podcast. Thank you to the listeners for listening in. I know you learned something today that can help you as you go along with your journey to your success. But again, until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. I really hope you were able to receive valuable information that will help you take actionable steps to get you closer to achieving your goals. If this is true for you, I would really appreciate it if you shared this episode with others, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to continue receiving updates on new episodes. I truly am excited about how my experience, the Lazenby Experience, can make a difference in your life. Again, thank you for listening to the Lazenby Experience podcast, and until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success.